There's no excuse for racist tweet, Roseanne says tearfully before making a bunch of excuses. Hear her first interview after firing here. We've heard snippets of apologies and deflections from Roseanne since she was fired over a racist tweet about former presidential advisor Valerie Jarrett, but mostly on Twitter, where she obviously is not her best self. So we have been very curious to hear her podcast interview with Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, a longtime spiritual advisor. Related, Roseanne previously cancelled on Joe Rogan's show. The show was recorded 3 weeks ago, when the wound was still fresh. So Roseanne is very emotional, and her tear-filled, heartfelt apology is couched in a rambling, somewhat contradictory sea of excuses. See some highlights and listen for yourself. Below, note, the transcript is from Boteach himself and can be found in its entirety here. The notes on Roseanne's crying or sobbing come from him. When they finally broach the subject of the tweet controversy, Roseanne does apologize, but she hides that apology behind an assurance she isn't racist. It's really hard to say this, but I didn't mean what they think I meant. And that's what's so painful. But I have to face that it hurt people. When you hurt people, even unwillingly, there's no excuse. I don't want to run off and blather on with excuses. But I apologize to anyone who thought, or felt offended and who thought that I meant something that I, in fact, did not mean. It was my own ignorance, and there's no excuse for that ignorance. But I didn't mean it the way they're saying I meant it. And that's really weird, too, because if I don't speak for myself, who will speak for me? We're going to go out on a limb and say no one, except those who think racism is okay. We just aren't buying this, and we don't think anyone else is either. She continued, crying, I have black children in my family. I can't let them say these things about that, after 30 years of my putting my family and my health and my livelihood at risk to stand up for people. I'm a lot of things, a loud mouth and all that stuff. Crying. But I'm not stupid, for God's sake. I never would have wittingly called any black person, I would never had said, they are a monkey. I just wouldn't do that. I didn't do that. Except she did do that. And not just this time. She tweeted in 2013 that Susan Rice was a man with big swinging ape balls. Serious question, do racist people not realize how racist they are? Do they think there's some line they have to cross, like actually wearing a hood? Anyway, she goes on, and people think that I did that and it just kills me. Sobbing, I didn't do that. And if they do think that, I'm just so sorry that I was so unclear and stupid. I'm very sorry. But I don't think that, and I would never do that. I have loved ones who are African American, and I just can't stand it. Sobbing, I've made a huge error and I told ABC when they called me. She says ABC demanded to know what she was thinking. Now, first of all, I had already apologized and removed it by then, cause it wasn't up very long. You know, sometimes you reread your tweets, especially Memorial Day weekend at 2 a.m., on Ambien. And that's no excuse, but that is what was real. There's no excuse. I don't excuse it. It's an explanation. I was impaired, you know. Skipping right by the Ambien defense, when she says sometimes you reread your tweets, is she trying to imply she took down the tweet because she knew there was something wrong with it? Before she was so publicly condemned? Is she saying she saw the racism the next morning? Sorry, this just doesn't add up to us. And Roseanne knows it. So she appealed to a higher power to judge her instead. I said to God, I am willing to accept whatever consequences this brings because I know I've done wrong. I'm going to accept what the consequences are, and I do, and I have. But they don't ever stop. They don't accept my apology or explanation. And I've made myself a hate magnet. And as a Jew, it's just horrible. It's horrible. Crying. Hear the entire interview for yourself. Below, image via Nikki Nelson/when, tags, controversy, gotta have faith, icky icky poo, politic, Roseanne, sad, social issues, TV news, Twitter, Viral, new Stefano Gabbana may have crossed the line one time too many. Because now it's hurting Dolce & Gabbana's place in the fashion world. When the controversial designer called Selena Gomez so ugly on Instagram, it wasn't just Selenators who found the comment in bad taste. Related, Miley Cyrus stepped in to defend Selena. During a panel on the future of the red carpet at the Business of Fashion Summit last week, some top celeb stylists made it clear the future did not look bright for the brand after that bit of bullying. Preda reporter quoted two major stylists saying they were done with D&G. Carla Welch, who styles Amber Heard, Sarah Paulson, Lorde, and more, said, image via Abga/Ipe/Wen.